Hello, welcome. It's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here for my Friday thoughts. So every second Friday I like to have it some art related thing. So for this week I thought that I would talk about my perspective or my side of things in regards to this deck of cards, my healing energy cards, and the creation of these. So artwork especially, but also maybe I might touch on the descriptions or the meanings behind them too, but especially the artwork. So I have a lot of people ask me about my cards. So I've released 4 decks of cards. 1 deck is sold out and discontinued, and I'm also working on my 5th deck, which is in creation now, and hopefully will be out the end of 2020, but most likely next year in 2021 if you're watching this later. So I've had a lot of questions from people curious, I think, about how cards are made or how I make mine. I've seen a lot of terrible decks in my time. Artwork terrible, not very accurate in my opinion. Card decks too. I've seen a lot of very small card decks. And if they're small and they're potent and they're accurate, then there's nothing wrong with that. But I've seen a lot of very commercial, photoshopped, sort of very generic sort of card decks. So for me, it's really important. Well, there's a couple of important things. First of all, the deck has to be accurate. So that's really essential. I mean, what is a deck of cards, whether it's Oracle or Tarot or whatever, that's not accurate? If it's not accurate, you might as well just use them for decoration. So accuracy and them being accurate is really essential. And for me to access or have that or get that or achieve that, I have to practice with my cards before they get into the printed state. So for example, it might take me a year. By the time I finish the illustrations, even before I finish my last illustration, I might be 20 or 30 illustrations into a 55 card deck. And I'm already starting to get my descriptions and really getting a feel for the meanings of the cards in relation to them being in a deck. Now, if you had this piece of artwork hanging on your wall, just the artwork by itself, let's say I drew this for you as a piece of healing art for you personally, then I'm going to connect in with you personally and share what I'm feeling from that for you. Now, if that illustration makes it to a deck of cards, for this one, for example, its meaning, its interpretation is going to be different from my viewpoint in the deck of cards than it will be to have just that the piece of artwork that you're working with personally. So I need to refine the meanings of the cards by practicing with them. So I'm using them on myself. I'm using them when I connect with other people. I'm looking for feedback. I do lots of on social media is brilliant for it, because on Facebook I can pull a few cards for people and then ask for, which parts of this information really speak out as resonating. And then through that information and through my intuition, because I've quite strong intuition, I can then hone and refine those meanings. And then before they go to the printer, I will also do a really thorough final check with the cards, just for their accuracy. Now, when I'm making a deck of cards, I don't do, obviously you probably gathered that now by what I've been talking about, I don't do the meanings first. Some people do the title and the descriptions first, then they want an artist or whoever to do the artwork for that, or they may do it themselves. But for me, I've always found it works for me through all of the decks that I've created, so now onto my 5th, is to do the illustrations first. Sometimes when I'm getting towards the end of a deck, so if I'm getting towards the end of, say I've got the last 3 or 4 illustrations to do, I may then start looking at the deck and looking at, okay, what element is missing or what element is strong right now. Now, when I'm creating cards or when I'm creating the illustrations, unless these are healing artworks that have been created. If I'm, for example, let me just move to one here that I might be able to talk about. A lot of the artwork reflects my own personal journey. So the Phoenix is a great example of that. So this, the Phoenix Rising card, which I absolutely adore, I still can't believe I actually drew this. Like, if I had a plan to draw this, I wouldn't even know where to start. It just kind of happened, and it just happened in a really powerful way, which ended up making this card. So a lot of the illustrations, especially the personal ones to me, they are based on whatever I'm going through and learning, because I find creating, and especially creating through drawing, a great way for me to express what I'm dealing with, or what I'm feeling, or what I'm sensing inside that's sometimes difficult to find words to describe. So I will do the illustrations first. All the illustrations are always done first for me. I'm not saying that's the way it should be done for every single deck of cards that's ever made, but that's the way that it works for me, because I'm an artist, I think, primarily. That's my main way of expressing myself. And then I also love to try and work out, how can I explain what I'm feeling in words? But often it's after it's already come out of me as a creation. So creating the illustrations first is really important to me. And then the information to follow, so that, and then I refine them to make sure that they're accurate. So let me think if there's anything else I need to cover about making a deck of cards, or the sort of process. It's a long process. In general, it takes me about 4 years to make a deck of cards, and the cards really represent where I'm at that particular time in my life. So you'll see, for example, in this deck, a lot of twin flamey sort of cards, because that's the stage I was at in my life when I was bringing these to life. I was reconnecting with my my twin flame, and I was aligning with my own masculine and feminine within myself, which then brought about that as a relationship. So there's a lot of that in this particular deck. And for example, in the new deck I'm making, I made that after the fire that destroyed my workshop, and then going through that rebuilding and the whole emotional obstacle course that you go through, going through something like that. So a lot of that is expressed in this deck I'm working on now. So it's very much a personal expression from me, and a refinement of, you know, I'm not in a rush to get them out. I don't intend for them to be bestsellers or sit on the shelves in shops and be flying off the shelf. I just want to create something that's really personal to me, and created from the heart in a real true and genuine way that feels right for me. And I have to trust that for me without any doubt. And then that creates a nice solid deck that I trust people, maybe you, enjoy working with. So the journey of this from an art perspective is a real long journey. It makes writing a book look like a walk in the park. It's a big journey, a big process, but these are great projects to work on. So lots of fun. Let me know if you have any questions about the creation of decks of cards. Perhaps I might be able to offer some tips with, or do some more videos on later. I think it's also a great way to showcase the artwork. You know, instead of having 55 pieces of artwork hanging on the wall, you can access these through a deck of cards like this, which can be really powerful. This is another one that was created, and it was actually created from a meditation that I like to do, which I take myself to this hill, sit next to this tree, and I just imagine drawing this beautiful view out here. And this is, I take myself there and have for years, quite often. And this one time I went there in a meditation, and the sky turned into like a ceiling, and these golden energy hands scooped me up into this other world, and it was a world of white domed buildings, and there were other presence there, but I couldn't see anybody, and it was just this overwhelming feeling of love. And I was drawn into this hall, or this temple, into this center sort of space where I just received and was just being soaked up with love. So it was beautiful. So that ended up turning into this particular card. So they're very personal, very personal. There's lots of you know, meaning behind a lot of these illustrations in the various decks that I have created. So I trust that gives you a little bit more maybe of a understanding or background information on my card decks and how I create them. So thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment or share if you're inspired to, and if you want to connect more privately, please send us a message through our website. If you want to learn more about me and the work I do at Temple of Balance, please visit my website at templeofbalance.com.au. And my cards, including these, are available only on my website because I self-distribute. So have a look if you're inspired to. They can be quite powerful and life-changing. So thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.